All right, hello everyone. My name is Leah Reporter. I will be presenting for my summer 2026 biology lecture and lab. So my bacteria that I chose is going to be Helicobacter pylori, also known as H. pylori. So that's what I'll be calling it throughout the video. So let's start off with the morphology. The morphology of it is a gram-negative bacterium, okay? It is spiral shaped. It has multiple phalanges right there. And it does produce an enzyme called urease. That is what it looks like under the microscope, okay? So what is H. pylori? Well, H. pylori is a stomach bacteria that burrows itself inside of the mucus lining of your stomach. And like I said, it produces the enzyme urease, which has to be a very strong enzyme because our stomach, of course, it has the acid and all that stuff to break down the food that we eat every day. Well, this enzyme and this bacteria is able to live in those conditions, okay? So that's basically what it is. It is a stomach bacteria. All right, so the backstory on H. pylori is it was discovered in 1982 in Australia by Dr. Warren and Dr. Marshall, okay? So before the discovery, a lot of people used to think that ulcers were caused by eating spicy food and stress and all that, right? They thought that's the reason why people get stomach ulcers. Well, incorrect. So these doctors ended up contracting H. pylori to prove a point, basically, that H. pylori is the reason why stomach ulcers are a thing, right? It's not because of food, it's not because of stress, it's because of this specific bacteria. So they ended up winning a Nobel Peace Prize in 2005 because one of the doctors, again, contracted H. pylori to prove that point that, you know, it's not because of spicy food, it is because of this specific bacteria. All right, so what type of diseases are caused by H. pylori, right? So you can get gastric, peptic ulcers, and in some cases even cancer. So how you can contract H. pylori itself is by eating contaminated food, being in close contact with another individual who already has H. pylori, not drinking clean water, things like that, and it damages the stomach lining. Symptoms and signs of H. pylori is burning stomach pains, bloating, nauseous, burping, loss of appetite, decreased weight, vomiting, and black stool when a ulcer is actively bleeding, okay? There is a lot of different ways that you can diagnose H. pylori. You can do a breath test, you can do a stool test, you can do a biopsy, and sometimes even a blood test. Now, if you do contract H. pylori, well, you will be put on antibiotics and also a proton pump inhibitor to reduce the acid in your stomach. Medications normally are taken between like 10 to 14 days long. So how do we prevent H. pylori? We want to make sure we are washing our hands, eating off clean utensils, eating and drinking non-contaminated food and water, having a good water source. And if you do contract it, make sure that you take all of your antibiotics. A fun fact about H. pylori, which I was kind of on the fence about the Nobel Peace Prize thing and this one. So I ended up wanting to throw the Nobel Peace Prize thing in there. Basically that he got H. pylori to prove a point. I thought that was a pretty fun fact. But the fun fact here is going to be about 50% of the world's population has H. pylori, but it's never diagnosed. A lot of the time, it does not affect a lot of people, okay? But, you know, as the time goes longer, it builds and builds, you know, it can cause other underlying issues such as cancer. H. pylori is something that changed the medicine game because many people believe that, you know, these ulcers were coming from stress, and that was not the case. It was all because of H. pylori. All right, guys, thank you for listening to my presentation. You guys have a wonderful, a wonderful summer. I will see you guys during the next school year. Bye.